Hello everyone and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. There's been a lot of buzz about the Firefly mod by Mirage Dev, which is one that enhances reentry and aerodynamic effects, and so I've decided to try it out on my custom Lynx spacecraft, which is currently at the top of this Sagitta rocket, and we're going to see what it does with this custom spacecraft and whether it looks right. After all, this is one of my basic spacecraft. I've got a lot of spacecraft that will probably need to be tested, including space planes, quite a lot of space planes. But we'll start off with this. So, of course, I have to launch it first. And it said it enhanced aerodynamic effects. So I don't know what that's going to be like on the way up, so we'll see. Well, there's those little things. I really need to implement Pekka's version of the condensation and the boil off on the pad, but I have not done that because it's more complicated than just slapping on those little modules. But anyway, here we go with the launch of the Sagitta rocket here from Tampico. I've added the volumetric clouds to the save, but not RSS Reborn altogether, because RSS Reborn with its cube maps interferes with my terrain, and also the cube maps interfere with the resource scans. If you have cube mapped planet like the moon or Mars as opposed to normal textures, then that seems to get in the way of the resource scans for me to see where the ore and other resources are. So that's why I don't use RSS Reborn in any install where I plan to do resource scanning and figure out how to do ISRU, and that's true in this install. The mod does say that it supports custom envelopes for individual parts, so maybe I'll need a custom envelope for my Lynx spacecraft, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to decide not to do anything with my Lynx spacecraft. I assume that it'll do something, but I'm not sure. If it looks like it doesn't do anything, I'll try to implement it and then try again. I also plan to do a full up test with the space shuttle, the Giulio Dondi version of the space shuttle. And I think I'll do the space shuttle with the Trident rocket version, that is riding with 2 New Glenn boosters. If you just want the volumetric clouds for real solar system, but don't want the enhanced land textures, all you need to do is get BlackRack's environmental visual enhancements and scatterer from BlackRack's Patreon, which has the volumetric cloud configurations, and then you're going to need from RSS Reborn the RSS VE configs and RSS VE textures, and that'll take care of it. Alright, and we are in orbit. Okay, don't hit it though. I said don't hit it. Don't torch it either. Okay. Did that maneuver a little bit sooner than I probably ought to. Alright, so we just have to deorbit this now. But maybe I should get into a slightly higher orbit for fun. Okay, off. Now, should I use descent mode or not? Well, it'll look more interesting, that's for sure. Okay, we are in the atmosphere. Let's see what happens. Alright, waiting for the effects to kick in. Well, really, by 100 kilometers we would expect something, at least judging from the Starship videos. I'm still not seeing a whole lot going on yet. Let me see my aerodynamic effects setting. Well, maybe I should up the quality to normal. Oh boy. Okay, that did not do anything good. Okay, well, I've messed everything up apparently. Okay, well, I sort of messed up the oceans by trying to adjust the aerodynamic effect quality, but it looks like this is what we're getting here. Let me come out of Fizz Warp. But it happened really late. So I think I need to do some configuring and fixing. There's not much of it. Maybe I'll add a custom configuration for Lynx with it. Also, Lynx really wants to rotate. I'm using full roll here to try and counter it. Well, the 4G reentry, so descent mode did its thing. Oh, okay, it says 5.5 there. But I think that was at a different time. So Firefly actually has this effect editor. We didn't really have any of the bow shock, particles, sparks, debris, and smoke either. So it doesn't seem like I'm getting all the stuff, does it? Okay, well, I think it's just trying to show us what it would do. I want serious effect strength. Oh, but maybe that's... Does that have 18,000 particles? Streak probability... What I really want is to change when it shows up. Make sure it starts out earlier. Okay, well, I've changed the config file for Earth. I'll have to see about how to change it for particular spacecraft. Alright, I'm just gonna launch this again and we'll bring it down again and see if that looks better. Because it sure didn't seem like it was doing a whole lot before. Seems to be working, but... Okay, let's see how it goes this time. Okay, separation. Okay, we have entered the atmosphere. So basically, I need some way of telling it to start with the aerodynamic effects maybe a little bit earlier. Might work a little bit better with the space planes. Right now it says reentry strength negative 829. I don't want it to be negative. Let me like... Oh, now it's even more negative. Okay, fine. Let me reduce that number. Then it'll be positive. I mean, do we want it to be negative? Feels like if I increase the strength, it becomes more negative. I want something to show up here. We're slowing down. This particle's hitting us, that's for sure. I mean, reducing strength sort of just changes the order of magnitude on entry strength. It doesn't seem to change the rate at which it's tending towards 0. I'm guessing it's just related to speed, really. But I want re-entry effects here. Why are there no re-entry effects here? It does seem like as long as it's negative, it's not doing anything. So I need some way of changing how this strength is calculated so that it starts a little bit earlier. I think it's probably a number in RSS or something like that. I guess we see the bow shock sort of starting up. Well, maybe what I've done to it is not quite good. Gotta figure out why it rotates like this. But yeah, it's not doing a huge amount right now for the Lynx. I've seen people post screenshots where it seems to do a whole lot more. Well, yeah, the Lynx is not getting sufficiently Fireflied as far as I can tell. Taking a look at the wiki for the mod, its body configs are just what we see in Firefly here, basically. When we open the effect editor, it doesn't really give a way to... Well, there is a particle threshold. Let's see. So apparently this particle threshold, it says, is the airspeed threshold in meters per second for particles to appear. I've got it at 18,000 and they still didn't appear. So, yeah. The problem is, they've got multipliers, but if you multiply something that's negative, you just get a larger negative number. It doesn't really affect when the particles show up. As far as I can tell, the only number that would affect when the particles show up is the particle threshold, but it doesn't seem to do that because they don't show up at that speed. You know, otherwise we would have particles showing up right away. The strength base is a multiplier. These are all multipliers. The problem with multipliers is that if you've got a negative number and so that, you know, the effect is not going to show up, all the multipliers in the world are not going to change that. It's still got to be a negative number. Unless you change it to a negative number, but then when it's the particles are supposed to show up, they're not going to. So that's a math problem that we've got with this. Apparently there's a speed multiplier, overall strength multiplier for the entire planet pack. Yeah, well, I'll try and change that. But I'm not too sure it's going to have that effect. Because again, it's a multiplier. It's not setting the speed, and as I set the speed here, it doesn't seem to obey that. But anyway, let me try what I can here. So in Firefly, I've set the RSS config to have a speed multiplier of 1.5. It was at 1. And I'm going to see whether that has the effect that I want or not. But I wish the actual speed number actually did what it was supposed to do, but it doesn't seem to. I'm sure this all works just fine with stock. And I've seen people post nice screenshots of spacecraft with effects on them. But I'm not getting it on mine. Or not enough. I'm definitely getting some effect, I just haven't been getting enough of an effect. It could be that some other mod is getting in the way. Like post-processing or something like that. If KS3P doesn't work well with it, or one of the other visual mods doesn't work well with it, that could be a problem. Oh, we're going out from Cape Canaveral this time, apparently, I guess. Doesn't really matter for what we were testing. Okay, we are in the atmosphere again. Well, we're here at 100 kilometers and it's still not giving me the effects as soon as I would like it to. And increasing the strength base doesn't help because, again, multipliers are multipliers. If it's negative, it's not going to help. Well, I think we might get effects a little bit earlier than last time, at least. Okay, we're in positive territory. The Bioshock is a little meh. Maybe I should increase the length multiplier. Let's try that. Still sort of mild and very waterfall. I'll probably have to tweak some numbers here. Maybe 1.5. And oh no, let's have more of that. Maybe just 2 there. Okay, well, we're rolling around. But rolling around sure increases the sense of the flaws in the mesh-like reentry effect. You can see as it rotates around that there are angles where all the mesh bits align with the camera. That's not wonderful. Well, it's doing stuff, but I'm not sure it's doing all the things that I've seen it do for other people. Like particles, sparks, debris, smoke. Not really seeing that. Is the lynx just too nice? Maybe it's because the lynx doesn't ablate that much because it's meant for a higher orbit, that it isn't producing a lot of the effects that other people see because it's meant to come back from greater speeds. Well, that might be a thing. I'll have to test Firefly with other things, especially space planes. Those aren't generally meant to come back from high orbits. Like the scramjet, aerospike, scramspike. I can try that. But yeah, I'm a little bit iffy about how Firefly is dealing with the Lynx spacecraft, which is my normal pod. It is the pod I usually use when I want a pod. So there is that. Alright, we are on the parachutes, and the link to the mod will be in the video description, and may it be more flashy for you than it was for me. Let's put it that way. Clearly, I need to do some tweaking for it to be exactly what I want it to be. And if you have some suggestions, please do add them in the comments. So for now, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.